Hello class, let us continue our discussion on fund-based accounting. Yesterday we have spoken about the meaning of fund-based accounting and some examples of funds which are created under fund-based accounting. So let us see what are the categories of funds. Okay. For a non-profit organization, the funds that they receive may be categorized into two, namely unrestricted fund and restricted fund. As the name suggests, unrestricted fund may be a fund on which there will be no condition of any specific purpose for which the fund may be used. So there is no restriction on the use of the fund. But it should be noted that even though there is no restriction, it has to be used only for the purpose for which the non-profit organization is existing for. Like if it is a charitable organization, then it has to be used only for the charitable purposes for which the organization is running. Unrestricted fund is also known as capital fund or general fund. Generally it is called commonly it is called capital fund. So capital fund is the contribution made by the different parties or the different donations that they have received, not for any specific purpose, but the various donations received or the various contributions received by the people who had started the organization. That makes the capital fund. So it is not the capital actually, it is the contribution made by the different trustees or the different parties who had started the organization that constitutes its capital fund. So capital fund of non-profit organization will see an increase with surplus. Like from income and expenditure account, the surplus which is earned is added to capital fund. So if there is a surplus, that will increase the capital fund for an NPO. Likewise, if the income and expenditure account is showing a deficit, the occurring of deficit will be decreasing the capital fund. That's why a surplus is added to capital fund, as it is going to increase its amount. But if it's a deficit, it will be deducted from capital fund when we will draw the balance sheet of a non-profit organization. The second category of funds for non-profit organization under fund-based accounting is restricted fund. So these are funds which are going to be used for only the specific purpose. So there's a restriction on the use of these funds, and it is restricted to the category of the fund for which it is been created. Some of the common funds under this category are government grant, endowment fund, annuity fund, loan fund, fixed assets fund, and prize fund. Now let me briefly tell you about what these are. A government grant may be a grant received from government, which is meant for a specific purpose, like maybe government grant received for underprivileged children, or for people from lower class. So if such a grant is received by a charitable institution, then those underprivileged children may be a children home. So in that, the government grant received specifically for the poor children or say homeless children, then that grant has to be applied only for the use of those children who are homeless or those poor children. So if the grant received from government is specifying for the purpose for which the amount is received by non-profit organization, it will be applicable for use only for that particular purpose. Endowment fund. Now what is endowment fund? Endowment fund is also a kind of donation, but here the donor is donating the amount with a condition that after that donation is received by the non-profit organization, the non-profit organization is going to invest that amount, and it's from that investment, whatever the income it is generating. Suppose a donor has donated say 5 lakhs of rupees, and he has put a condition that for this 5 lakh of rupees an endowment fund is to be created. That means what the a non-profit organization has to do is it has to invest that money somewhere. Okay, so after it is investing the money for some securities or some investments it has made out of that money, so once that investment is made, that same donation will be created in the form of an endowment fund. Now this money in the endowment fund will remain stagnant, means the amount 5 lakh received as donation created as endowment fund will remain as 5 lakh, and the non-profit organization is going to gain from the investment which it has made out of this money. So whatever the investment it has made, the income from that investment is going to be used by the non-profit organization, but this money of 5 lakh will remain untouched. Okay, they will not be using that amount for any use. Okay, it will be using only the income generated after it has invested that money in some other form in the market. Yeah. So that is the condition with the fund or donation received, and if such is a condition, then the fund created for that purpose is called endowment fund. Another fund is called annuity fund. Now annuity fund is again a form of donation which is received from an outside party known as donor. Hey, now here the donor is putting a condition that whatever the income is earned from that amount which is donated, hey, a fixed annual payment is to be made to the donor or to any beneficiary whom the donor has nominated. Okay, so here the donor is granting an amount of donation to an NPO, and with the promise that the income that the NPO will generate from it, a part of that income will be returned back to the donor or maybe some other beneficiary whom the donor has nominated. So that fund is known as annuity fund. Okay. Now loan fund will be a fund which is created by an NPO for granting loans. Maybe if they have like a charitable trust for poor people or poor children, I mean, so it may create a loan fund to help those poor children in their studies. Okay. It may grant loan out of this fund to those children who want to avail for higher studies or who are facing financial needs for their education. So such from this fund the educational loans may be given to those students or those children who are in need. And that fund is called loan fund. Fixed assets fund will be a fund created for development of any fixed assets, like I mentioned yesterday, building fund. Okay, a building fund may be termed as a fixed assets fund. Okay, so any changes for the particular asset or any addition to that asset or maintenance of that asset will be met by this fixed assets fund. Okay, likewise they have prize fund. Okay, if there are certain contests or tournaments which are held in say a sports club, then all the expenses of the prizes distribution or expenses during the tournaments that they may held will be met out of this fund known as prize fund. So if it is meant for a specific purpose, the use of such funds will be restricted. That's why they come under the category of restricted fund. So these are the two categories of funds. Now the accounting part of the treatment of funds we shall discuss in our next video. Thank you.